Hello, Flosstube. Welcome back. My name is Teresa. This is the Garden Goose Stitcher Flosstube, where I talk about my cross stitch and probably about driver's training for the rest of my life. It is March 14th. It's my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, sissy. She doesn't watch this, but at least I tried. It is Flosstube 15, and thank you for coming back. If you're back for another round of chaos, or if you just found me, hello, welcome. You guys know I love interacting with you and getting to know you guys. I feel like the comment section is like amazing. It's just wonderful to get to converse with you guys, even if it's just messages. Sometimes I literally can't think of anything else to say, but you're just so nice. So I just heart it. But I appreciate all of you. So thank you for being here. This week has gone by fast. Been stitching away, I feel. Maybe. Last Tuesday, after we last spoke, I went to Panera and met my friend Megan, and we stitched. It's always really fun to catch up with her because she is a person that stitches for hire. And not model stitching, or like she doesn't model stitch or work for like a designer or shop. She stitches for hire. So every time I get to talk to her, I'm like, and then what? And then what do they send you? And what are they gonna do with it? So we met at Panera. Also, I want to tell you, firstly, if you go there to stitch and you don't have anything else to do the next day, you should get that charged lemonade. You'll be up all night. But it really does have a good caffeine content. I didn't believe it. I asked her, what does it mean, charged lemonade? It says it has enough caffeine to be coffee, but it's lemonade. I don't understand how that could be. And she read it. She says, yeah, that's a lot of caffeine if it's true. So we tried it. I was up till 2. She said I texted her the next day. I said, that caffeinated lemonade worked. I was up till 2. She said, she was up till 4 and she'd do it again. It worked real good. It did. It was like a smoother caffeine than coffee. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the heart. I don't know. It was very good. If you want to stitch a marathon, from now on, charged lemonade is going to be my go-to. It was wonderful. But getting to catch up with her and see what she's been stitching lately, who is sending her what, I just have like an amazing... I think her sewing tales are more amazing than anything. So she basically runs off of Etsy. She has no listings on her site. I don't remember what it's called. It's something simple like stitching something. I don't know. It's super simple. Also, a dog just came in here. Oh, he's back there. So if you hear a weird sound, it's not me. I heard a sound and I thought, I don't have a tummy ache, but it was him just... Anyway, so she has an Etsy listing and people can contact her and commission her to stitch something. They send her the pattern, they send her the fabric and the floss, and she stitches it for them. She charges by the stitch, and I just find it super interesting to find, like, to understand what people are sending, you know? The first time I met her, somebody had sent her a fully kitted Blackbird Designs, like fabric, and I said, what? I said, wait, how does that work if you're not really comfortable stitching on that count? And she said, well, I just do it anyway. Like, I might not love it, but I can do it, and I just do it. So I thought that was really interesting. She was telling me, so from what I understand, quite a few of her clients possibly can't just stitch themselves anymore, whether they have trouble with their hands or their eyes or whichever. And so, but they still love cross-stitch pieces and shopping and all of that. So they send it to her and she stitches it for them, which I think is so cool. And then she was telling me that she was finishing a lot of, she finishes a lot of DMC stockings or dimensions kits, dimensions stockings. And a lot of times it's because someone's passed away and they haven't finished it. They haven't finished their stuff. And so the family wants, everyone to have one of those stitched stockings, so they'll send it to her and she finishes it for them so that everybody has a stocking from grandma or whomever. And so she was telling me that, and then there was other projects too from this woman's or from somebody's whips that she died with that Megan is stitching up. And so I was almost choking on my sandwich. I was like, so they died and they sent you their whips? Because isn't that your worst nightmare? Like, you know, leaving a ton of whips? It's mine. A little bit. I don't want to... I'd worry more about the quilts, but I don't know. Anyway, it's super interesting. I just think it's a cool thing that she does. And she's, I don't know. So it's really great. I'll see her in a couple weeks at the retreat at Stitches and Things in the Camp Stitch a Lot. It's the last one. So other than that, Nate's been going to driver's training every day. It's kind of a pain in the booty. It's 2 hours. We're not used to leaving our house though. Okay. So we understand this is the way the normal world works, but we're just used to being at home. So going and like taking him someplace for 2 hours every day, that's normal for most of the world. Just difficult for us because we're like, when do we eat dinner? 7 o'clock. But anywho, and then Nate had a hockey tournament this past weekend in Port Huron. I was supposed to drive back and forth, but on Friday I didn't end up going because the game turned out to be at 9:30 at night. 9:30 at night was the start time. It's an hour drive. And then it ended up, I mean, I would have had to do it because, you know, I'm his mom. But then it has been snowing, like bad snow all day. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw the boys building a snowman before they left because it was like really wet, nasty snow. And then when they got there, Dave messaged me and said the roads are even worse over here and it just keeps coming down and it snowed a while longer over there. So I'm glad I didn't, but it was a bummer to miss it, especially because he scored the first goal that game. And so I always want to be there for that. But I have such mom guilt for not being there that game that he broke his clavicle that, like, you know, I told her, I said, listen, Nate, you cannot get hurt. Okay. He's like, well, I won't. And I was like, okay, but don't. Because, you know, anyway. So between hockey games, I went the next day. There was 2 games. They lost one and won one. And it was really, the one that they won was just amazing. And Nate scored and it was great. It was really great. So hockey season is over. The team is going to game this coming weekend together as a team, like a Flint Firebirds game, and then we're done. And then spring hockey will start. I think Dave has talked me into double rostering Nate this spring. So, because spring hockey is so relaxed and there's not a lot of practices or games. So his idea is put him on 2 teams and then we'll be busy all the time. So you know, great. But he's moving up to 16U level. So I don't know, you guys. I've always just been along for the ride with the hockey world stuff because Dave and Nate, it's their like bonding thing, and I've filled in as the hockey parent a lot, but it's really, tell me where I gotta go, okay? Okay. Do I need to bring snacks? So, anywho. So, let's talk about stitching, because that's probably why you're here. Not here for the sports update. Okay, so I meant to work on both my whip goes this past week, but I didn't, because the pattern is downstairs and the project's been upstairs. And apparently that's just too much of a distance. Every time I thought of it, I was, anywho. So Only America the Beautiful got some attention. I've been stitching on this while I watch, I've been watching Homeland like every night, like 1 or 2 episodes, because it is so good. I'm in season 6. Don't tell me what happens, but I hope Peter gets okay. Or Quinn. Do you call him Peter or Quinn? But I hope he heals. Don't ruin it for me, okay? But I've been stitching this. I am using a coffee tea dyed. I'm sure this is a 14 count that I did. I replaced the white lettering with a blue. I even wrote it down, you guys. Look at that. I used 336 for the words, and I changed my red to 304. Miracle of all miracles. Look at me. I don't remember when I started this. It probably was. Now that I think about it, it probably was a Mania 2020. I bet you. Wait, what year did this pattern come out? 2021? Does it have copyright on it? I don't see it. I don't see a copyright. Whatever year it came out, it was probably that year's Mania that I put this on. But it's been in the Whip Go calendar last year and then this year. I got a couple more of those white flowers and a couple more leaves done. I think I have 2 left of the white outlines to do, and then I just have fill in the blue. And I really do like this pattern. I like it on this coffee tee. I'm not a fan of stitching on black fabric, but we've talked about that before. My other whips have been called for March Mania. You know, I'm doing a Mania formatted March thing. Oh, I planted my seeds. Yeah, I did. I planted my seeds. I planted 60, I think. I planted 15 varieties of tomatoes. I'm planting peppers, jalapenos, and bell peppers. Last year, they did not work out. And I've never had peppers not work out. I'm so baffled. But I don't know. They always take a lot longer to germinate, to pop up from the soil. And so this year I'm trying that method where you put them in the paper towel that's damp and you keep it damp and then they germinate in there. Then you transfer them with tweezers into their little hole. So I'm trying that this year. Planted a lot of basil. Planted some ornamental cabbage. People, listen, if you're in the mid-Michigan area and you have a tip for ornamental cabbage at a greenhouse, I'm willing to travel like at least an hour. My local one that I go to, my local greenhouse that I like to go to, I go to Wojo's. Is that real? I think it is called Wojo's. Anywho, they don't have ornamental cabbage until the fall. And I'd like to plant it in the summer and have it be cool decoration all year. So I'm trying seeds. Last year I tried them. It didn't work out. This year I'm trying again. Putting more attention on the ornamental cabbage that I planted in hopes that I have something come out. I also planted a ton of dill because I like to make pickles. And last year I had issues with my dill. And then when I went to make pickles, I was picking these tiny little dill heads. And I mean, it worked, but I'd like to have so much dill, I'm giving it away. Not just barely enough. Planted dill and basil. I planted some lettuce just so that we could eat it before. I don't even know that it'll end up in the garden. Maybe it'll just end up in a pot and then we'll have it for fresh eating. What else did I plant? I planted some hollyhocks, hoping that I can start some seedlings. I planted them in the ground last year and they didn't work out. So, well, that's the end of the garden segment. So, okay. So my whips, my Mania, my March Mania. This is a whip from 2022 and I hardly had anything done. I stitched on it last Thursday. And, oh, yes, I stitched on this last Thursday. And if you were in the Stitch Your Stash Facebook group Zoom that Carrie hosted, I was stitching on this. I got the dress done in her little body. And I even got most of that bee. I think it's missing its eyes or something right there. And then I forgot to use the hashtag. And here I had already declared I was going to use the hashtag for that bee. But I forgot. So I was in that group Zoom and I was stitching on this. So I love group Zooms. I don't know why. Yesterday, this whip came up. This was a Mania 2022 start as well. And I barely had anything done. lower your standards for what you think I possibly accomplished. I mean, it was a fair bit. I stitched a fair bit. I got this one framed out. I got part of the coxcomb stitched in the red, and I did put several lines of this. It took a fair bit of floss, but it doesn't look like much. So, but it's an enjoyable stitch. I'd like that. Oh, you guys, I'll show you in a minute. I have some needle drama over here. So on to my new starts. One of my new starts last Wednesday was my April wordplay. That means that I finished March. It'll be in the finish section of the program. A couple of you joined the Wordplay Wednesday Facebook group. Thanks for joining. That was fun. I did not admit people if they had like just opened a Facebook. Like if that day they'd opened a Facebook and then they wanted to join the group, I didn't let them in. So send me a DM if you're a legitimate person and you really do want it, if I didn't let you in. But so I started April last Wednesday. I picked a fabric and I went with another colorful one. This was from that Charles Craft or DMC or whatever that fabric is. In the pack I got at a Salvation Army a long time ago with all those different colors. I'm sure it's just Charles Craft yellow. It's a really pretty tone though, isn't it? Don't you think it's pretty? I pulled some coloring cotton because you know those are my favorite flosses. Is this upside down? Yes, it is. Were you yelling at the TV? It's upside down! My bad, you guys. So I pulled some floss. And I asked the people in the Wordplay Wednesday group if it was gonna look like garbage, and they said no, go for it. And so I started stitching, and I do think it's beautiful. I love that yellow. So that was great. And then on Friday, okay, so this is a big one, you guys. On Friday, the project that was on my Mania was this March Prairie Schooler, in like a lion, out like a lamb. So I started it on Friday, and then I ended up stitching in it again on Saturday because I had to go to the hockey tournament and I just wanted something that was already kitted, and I didn't want to work on that summer freaking collection. So I just took this. So I stitched on it on Friday. I could have got a lot more done because, you know, my boys were gone that night and I was watching Dateline and I was just like messaging with my friends. So I didn't get much stitching done. It was such a wasted opportunity. I never get to watch Dateline in real life, like live, because Nate plays video games. He's not allowed to play video games during the week because it I don't know, ruins his brain or something. Hold on, I have to go pick up my fabric. So on Friday nights, he meets up with his friends online and he plays. So I watch up here on my TV. I streamed last week's Dateline. So I got to watch Dateline live, and I didn't cross stitch because I was messaging my friends. But you live and you make your decisions. So here's the things. Firstly, I tried a new needle. I tried an Edmar. I picked up a pack of 28 and 26s when I was at the cupboard. And both girls there said, these are great. And everybody I know has been loving on those needles. So I was trying a size 28 on this because it's 18 count. And I wanted to stitch and try it. I wanted to try those new needles. So I started stitching, and halfway through my thread, in the middle of it, there was about 5 to 6 inches of floss that was just shredded. I was stitching with one thread, and I love the coverage. This fabric, this fabric is what I had set aside to replace my Farms of Hawk Run Hollow fabric that I'm having an issue with. because I wanted something that the white would stick out on. And a lot of people in the comments did agree that if you're going to have to frog all that out, maybe you should just pick a new fabric, because then you have to backstitch everything. You're right. Because I'd already had pulled this before I started getting those comments. And it wasn't just me that thought, I should just pick a different fabric. If I have to restart something, I might as well just pick a fabric that I like better. And I still love that other fabric, but not for that. So this is a Grace Notes 18 count. I think it's called Twyla. Hold on. Twyla. So I love it a lot. I really, really like the white on this fabric. I like the one strand on this fabric. I think it covers really well. But then, ding dang it, that needle gave me trouble. So I came home. I thought it was a fluke. And then I came home and I tried another needle in the pack. And it did the same. And then I tried another one. And all 4 needles did that. It shredded a good 6 inches of my floss. So I thought probably I just got a bad pack. Don't you think? I might buy another one just to see if it'll work. If maybe it was just a bad pack. I did try my 26s yesterday on the feed stack, and those did not give me an issue. So perhaps my 28s did just have a bad batch. I don't know. So I stitched on this on Friday and Saturday, and I think I've decided now, after stitching on this floss with stitching on this fabric with one floss, that this is what I'll go with for my Farms of Hawk Run. And so it made me feel better. You know. My next new start was today, Flip It's July. And I just got a little start today. I've been really distracted. I had to take the barn cats in to get fixed today. We have 2 barn kittens. Did I ever tell you about that? Probably you don't care. So my cousin, who lives a little, 10 minutes away, she has 10 acres, and she got herself a pair of barn cats, some sisters. She named them Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and Sully. I don't remember if it's brother and sister or not. Anywho, she got them fixed anyway, so they're both, doesn't matter now. So she gets her barn cats. She gets them so where they're attached to the barn, and they hang around, and she gets them fixed, and everything's good. And then one night she goes out, and the hay bales were full of eyeballs glowing at her. So Mama Cat brought a whole litter, her little litter of kittens over. And so my cousin was like, oh no, what's she going to do with all those kittens? So I had said I would take 2, because we have chipmunks. I have a chipmunk problem, you guys. And I found out last night, I was messaging Missy about my chipmunks, and I found out that a grouping of chipmunks is called a scurry. So now you know. So I got these barn cats, and I put them out there, and they'll stay around. And then I felt bad because I didn't even get to know them well enough to even name them. So I brought them in the house, and they're semi-feral. I'd say semi to almost. They lived in the house until about Christmas time, and then I was very nervous about the Christmas tree, and they're very active. So we put them back in the barn, but then they just come right back to the door. So they've been living in the house this whole time, but it's difficult to catch them. I caught them this morning. I was sweating like a hooker in church. I was like, this is my aerobic activity for the day, catching those 2 kittens that are semi-wild. But I got us there, snowy roads, on time. Basically what I'm saying, you guys, is that I didn't get to stitch much on this, but my cats won't get pregnant, so that's good. July, I picked some of my favorite coloring cotton. I just pretty much now when I kit stuff up and I don't have the DMC or whatever it's called for, I just switch to my coloring cottons because I love them so much. And so those are my new starts. Those are my whips. So now you're here for the finishes. Can you believe it? Okay. First of all, let me show you the one that you can already see, because this is my June Flip It's, which was my new start last Tuesday. If you remember, I decided to attack a series that I almost had finished. In this series, I had 3 left. June, July, which hasn't gotten much done today because of the kittens, in my life. And then August. So next Tuesday I'll start August. But I finished June last week when I was at Panera with Megan, listening to her stories about other people's whips beyond the grave. So I finished it last week, and then I finished it up, fully finished it. I made point today when I was finishing stuff this morning. I had Nate reading history and biology to me while I was finishing stuff, and it worked out really great. And I made sure I used batting, and I really, really love the way it looks with batting. Look, there's a piece of glue. You see that? Oh, it's from the top. Oh, no. Anywho, I really, really think it looks great with batting. Now, so this is the one that's sitting on there right now because it's March. This sits on my hutch, and sometimes I have things. There's like a thrifted little green bowl, and sometimes I put like Christmas ornaments in there, or baubles, or fake Easter eggs, or whatever, little doohickeys. But this is March. So March has been up there. I finished that last year. But see how it looks without batting? I like the way it looks with batting, and it really takes me like 2 seconds more. So I finished that. I also fully finished my March wordplay. Now I have 3. Oh, there's a random and now I have 3 done. I don't think it was from this project. I must have just picked one up. Yeah, it's not from this. This is my March wordplay. It's crooked on there. But it's finished on a Tractor Supply perpetual calendar. And I used some green gingham from Hoblob or Holo, whichever you want to say. And I just really, really love it. I think it's beautiful. I'm so happy to have another one done. So now I believe I have October, January, and March completed. Now, I have some of them stitched. They just haven't been fully finished. So, my bad. But someday, when I have a lot of those large pieces, because the backer on that is like 12 inches. So I can't use the normal size, and I don't always buy a lot of the big ones on the sticky board when I'm shopping. So, oh my gosh, you guys know tomorrow's my shopping day. You do not even understand how full my carts are. Online. I also finished my March. This sits downstairs. We live in a split level, so our bottom floor has a walkout basement, and it's like a base. It's like sunken or whatever. You know, it's half. I don't know, you guys. Listen, it's like almost a basement, but it's not. So it's got one of those weird ledges, is what I'm saying. And so this sits there on the ledge right near the TV. I have a couple of other cross stitches, and I have David's military, like, shadow box type of looking thing. So it looks real nice down there. But if you remember, I didn't repeat the shamrock, leprechauns, and vine that would have been up top. And I love it. I don't. This is a generic bow that I have on there. And so I have one for Christmas time. And I think I have another couple that are changeable. But this is just the one that's generic. It fits my stuff all year round. It doesn't matter. Is it upside down? Holy catfish. Wouldn't doubt it. But I love it. So I'm glad it's done. I'm going to put it down there. And then, while I had the glue gun out, I finished my Barn Sweet Barn March. And I think it looks great. So this little thing is an ornament from... It had a wreath on it, and I tore the paper because it's really cheap. It's from Walmart. From the Christmas time, it was an ornament. And it sits on a tiered tray right near my coffee maker. And I have almost all of these done. Woof! I needed to push that in. But it sits on the tiered tray right next to my coffee maker, and I change it out. I have most of them. I bet you I don't have June, July, and August. But while I was doing that, I did the one that I finished. Hold on. It goes like that. This one is May. So that one is March. It needs to be up. So I know I have January, February, March, April is done. May is done. I believe I have October, and that's it. So maybe next year I'll finish this series up. But I used that batting again, and I thought, boy, I really do like the way it looks with batting. Found this fabric in my stash. I didn't even know I had any Lori Holt anymore. Pretty much only have Bunny and Camille fabric, or like little scraps that I buy at Hobby Lobby. So I think that's it for my finishes. That was quite a bit for me. But you know, you gotta strike when the glue gun's hot. I did get my coloring cotton floss today, or this past week. Golly, I love coloring cotton floss. Ooh, I just love it so much. So, love it. I wish I'd signed up for more of them, because I think there's also like a neutral color palette or something, and I wish I would have got that. I also had got my Classic Colorworks subscription, and I had this came like the day before yesterday, but I have decided to cancel my Classic Colorworks and my Week Dye Works subscriptions, and I'll tell you why. Because I love coloring cotton more. So I'd rather spend my money buying coloring cotton because I like them so much. I do like Weeks a fair bit. I hardly ever can see the variegation in my Classic Colorworks. And it doesn't make sense, because I've seen like Priscilla and Chelsea. When I went to that retreat, she had almost all of her cross stitch pieces there. And boy, you could really see the variegation in her Classic Colorworks stitching. And I stitch it with 2 threads. And I I do 1 stitch at a time, so it's supposed to. And boy, I don't see the variegation very well when I do Classic Colorworks. So I think that I turned off my subscription for this one and Weeks. I think I'm going to go through and really, I seem to have a lot of brown Weeks. So I was thinking I would go month by month and pick a color and just buy myself 5 or 6 flosses from Weeks, and, you know, buy some other flosses, just pick out what I want. So, but to say that my carts runneth over for tomorrow, my buying day, would be fair, because I have so much stuff in my 1, 2, 3 stitch cart and a couple of carts on Etsy, or, you know, like shops on Etsy. I have so much in there. So much. I'm going to have to whittle it down because it's a bit much. But tomorrow's my day. Anything can happen. Although I did have a buying day last week. I was on Etsy, and I bought a couple of fabrics, like quilting fabrics, to make some project bags for myself, and then something else. I don't remember what it was. I don't know, but at the time I thought I needed it. See, that's exactly why I have a once a month shopping day. Because at the time, but then later, obviously I didn't need it very much. I don't remember what it was, but also, I had my friend Karen sent me some patterns. She saw some goose patterns and thought of me. So, thank you, Karen. She lives in Indiana. I met her at the Stitches Etc. retreat, and then I saw her at Stitch Away. Are you going to Stitch Away? I haven't signed up. I haven't decided. I don't know. So, she sent me that one. And then a Goose Gatherings also. Did you see that Target has little geese out in their dollar section? And some girl made a reel about it on Instagram, and she's like, recognize this? And then she's like, no. She ties a blue bow around its neck and says, how about now? I always had a blue bow. So I bought myself a porch goose because I just knew this day was coming. I already had everything bookmarked in my phone. And then this one, look at that goose. See? That one doesn't have a blue bow. It looks like it's red. But I thought that was very sweet of Karen to think of me. Thank you very much, Karen. So I think that's all. This week, I'm going to be stitching my Fresh Egg Farm whip. That's on black. So, let me see. I know, I just pulled it. I was looking at this the other day and I saw it. When is your day? We're ready for it. This one came up. This one's next week. And then I have some new starts. Some St. Patrick's Day new starts. So 2 of them. Or 3 of them. That's exciting. I don't know. I thought of this all out before I even, and then I just let it go. This weekend though, it's going to be busy. Nate's hockey team is going for like a celebratory team event. We're going to a hockey game. The Flint Firebirds, like they're semi-pro or whatever, like whatever. And then Saturday we have a really busy day. I'm so sorry. That really snuck up on me. My mom has a band concert. My mom's in a concert band. It's like, to be honest, I think it's a lot of people she went to school with. And like younger people can join. They didn't used to have string instruments until a couple years ago. Now they do have some string instruments, but it's a heck of a good time. And this time they're going to have a group of bagpipers play with them. So I'm going to be there. And then my sister's hosting a birthday party for her 2 sons. One's turning 1 and one's turning 7, and they're having a joint birthday party. So we're going to go to that. And Nate has driving, so it's going to be a busy weekend. Busy weekend. We'll see what I get stitched, but I'm going to make an effort. I can't think of anything else I need to tell you. I'll see you next Tuesday. I don't have any major appointments next week. So maybe I won't be such a weirdo because I won't have been running around like crazy. Hey, listen, it's still winter here. It snowed yesterday, snowed last night, snowed the night before. It just seems to be winter still here. Although it is sunny now. But boy, I could use some spring rains instead. So that's all. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that I obviously need to take a nap. Sorry. I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you so much for checking in with me. And I hope that you have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'll be updating you on my March Mania. Hopefully I'll have seedlings popped up and I'll be so much to tell you. Hopefully those ornamental cabbages will be up. If you know a trick, let me know. I think they did come up last year, but they were very leggy. And they got to be this big and then they just bleh. I think I even tried up potting them. I don't know. So if you have any tips, let me know. I'll talk to you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. Happy stitching, friends. Bye-bye.